Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Delic Corp's channel, the largest chain of psychedelic wellness clinics in the U.S. Joining me, CEO Matt Stang. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure. So as we head into this new psychedelic renaissance, what is Delic Corp doing within this sector, and how are you guys playing around here?
Yeah, sure. So, what we built is we think the best and biggest psychedelic wellness ecosystem in the world. So we built a chain of ketamine clinics that goes throughout 9 states. We have the largest event around psychedelic wellness, Meet Delic, happening in Las Vegas, November 6th and 7th of this year. We have Reality Sandwich, the largest platform for psychedelic knowledge. And we have Delic Labs, the best scientific research and development lab in Canada with a license from Health Canada. So we really think we've kind of covered all the bases and created a really interesting pinwheel that each thing feeds into the other to help them all grow. So really excited.
Nice, trying to build that ecosystem. Really great stuff, man. So what experience does yourself and your team members kind of bring to Delic Corp, and what kind of led you up to this moment of getting into this?
Yeah, sure. So my background is almost 20 years in the cannabis space, an owner and operator of a company called High Times for many years, and really a lot of insight and knowledge in how a black or gray market goes white. So helping build the legal cannabis market, helping build the largest brands in the space. And from there, my wife and I launched Delic as the world's first psychedelic wellness platform 3 years ago, and really just focused on mainstreaming psychedelic wellness and being that infrastructural platform for people to receive safe and effective psychedelic wellness. And we have a team that's incredible. We have a member of our board who is the manager for the Grateful Dead, another one who is a founder of the company that is now Kronos Group, another one who founded and brought 2 companies public on the NASDAQ. We have the former chief marketing officer of Bulletproof, one of the largest health and wellness companies in the world, is our chief marketing officer. So really just bringing a bunch of folks with great experience and great knowledge forward into, making the best in class psychedelic wellness platform.
Yeah, you dropped a lot of big names there that you kind of scooted over with. High Times. Kronos is definitely one of the larger caps playing within the cannabis sector. So you guys sound like you have a pretty experienced group of team members there. So let's wind it back a little bit, because Delic kind of expands into these treatment facilities that I guess you announced on Monday, making you guys the largest chain of these kind of health clinics in the U.S. Can you touch on kind of like the timeline, like how you guys are expanding this specific approach, kind of the capital structure behind this, and just kind of the future potential that this could lead to for you?
Yeah, sure. So, we see just a tremendous opportunity. There's only a couple of hundred treatment centers in the country right now, and we see, the business is just booming for negative and positive reasons. Obviously, the pandemic has created a mental health crisis. Last year was 4 times the number of suicides of any year ever. So you have just a staggering human toll. And what we're really focused on is doing good and doing well, right? We want to make people better. And so these clinics are incredible because they are a business that is profitable while also changing people's lives for the better. So, we see there's a huge opportunity to expand. We're really focused on, getting to a real giant scale. We have plans for another 15 clinics with the current team that they've isolated locations for, and now we're working on actually, getting that expansion out there. We think the total addressable market is in the tens of millions of people who need some form of psychedelic wellness. And each of these clinics at peak operation efficiency can only do about 150 patients a month. So there's tons of room for expansion. There's tons of places that are underserved, and there's tons of people who don't understand that this is an option. And that's a big part of our event series and our media platform is helping people understand that there are other options other than the current crop of pharmaceuticals that don't do what people really need them to do. So if you're on an antidepressant or you're on an anti-anxiety medicine and you feel like crap, or it doesn't work, or it leaves you in a haze or a funk, there are other options. And that's, I think, the greatest thing that I can say is you're not trapped. You're not trapped being crazy. I'm air quoting here because I don't think anyone's crazy, but you're not trapped in your mental health disorder. You're able to actually bring yourself to one of our clinics and find help. And it's very personal for me. My co-founder is my wife, and she has an anxiety disorder, and she found ketamine 3 years ago, and it's helped her immeasurably. So it's a very personal quest for us to make this accessible and mainstream. So when people talk about mental health issues, they also talk about psychedelic wellness as a way to get through it. And I think the other piece of this is the current crop of pharmaceuticals have efficacy rates that are like 5, 7, 10%. And psychedelic wellness, ketamine has a 72, 75% efficacy rate, depending on which study you look at. MDMA is trending in the 80s. Psilocybin is in the high 70s. So you're talking about orders of magnitude better. And when something is an order of magnitude better, it will eventually take over. And so that's our thesis, is that we have something that is an order of magnitude better at helping people. And it's a life or death thing. People are in these mental health issues, and they can't get out. They don't feel like there's any answer, and they decide to leave this world, right? And so I think it's so important. And it's not just the suicidality, but it's also the lost productivity, the lost marriages, the lost families, the lost jobs, because people can't function in society. And so I just think it's super important. The work that we're doing is there to really help people, but it also makes for an incredible business that is just growing and scaling every day. So I think we're super excited to be a part of this and to lead at the forefront of this change.
I think that's incredible. This is a very mission driven industry, which is what I love most about the psychedelic sector. So just two quick follow-up questions here, just to touch base. So you guys have really kind of carved out this niche with the ketamine clinics, and that's kind of the approach that you're taking. I know you touched base on some of the labs and stuff that you're working on, but can you just touch really quickly, are you guys trying to get through any FDA trials? Are you trying to explore like the molecules themselves as well? Or are you guys just kind of waiting for the ramp up to happen and then probably partner with some of these companies to bring in some of these other psychedelic substances beyond just ketamine? And then if you could also just kind of expand on your capital structure behind this, like are you guys funding this right now? Do you have most of these clinics paid for and up in operation, or is this expansion requiring further institutional capital? Are you guys going to do that through the public markets, or what's your exact capital structure behind it as well?
Yeah, sure. So I'll answer backwards, 'cause a bunch of questions. So on the lab side, we have a license for psilocybin and cannabis at our lab in Vancouver from Health Canada, and are working for other novel molecule licensure. We're doing outsourced IP development for a bunch of companies, and then doing our own IP development. The way we see it is that the opportunity is to create novel IP, but not to go through the FDA 7 to 8 year process, but just create novel IP that we can license out and really, profit off of the growth of the new nascent legal psychedelic industry. So we're working on things like new delivery systems for psilocybin and alternative modes for making and distributing ketamine, just looking at how we can take what's out there and really optimize and make it the best possible experience for people. On the clinical side, we have the clinics we have already exist. So we already have 13 clinics. And from that, we see an expansion of at least 15 more. And those will be funded out of proceeds. And so see that as a really interesting expansionary opportunity. And the business itself is really, I think, very compelling. It costs somewhere in the range of $300,000 to $350,000 to open one of these things, and they get to break even in 6 or 7 months and then become profitable. So
that's incredible.
It's really a very compelling business, and that's really what I think is so interesting about what we're doing. We've put together something that's on an almost $8 million run rate already, and when most companies in our sector are still talking about 4 to 5 years before they see a dime of revenue. And so we're really focused on the now, but we're also focused on working with, and this is to answer your next question, the companies that are developing or have developed novel molecules will need our infrastructure, our chain of clinics, to deploy those molecules out to the world, right? So having this giant platform allows us to bring in MDMA when that gets approved by FDA, or psilocybin when that gets approved. And those are both in phase 3 clinical trials and about to be submitted. So I think we're talking a year or so, maybe a year and a half before those are approved. So then we'll have a whole new group of patients who will need these clinics in this space to really get into it. So I think it's just super interesting and important.
Yeah, incredible point there. Just one last little follow-up question. I don't want to take too much of your time here. Coming into this last quarter, what's your kind of rollout with this next stage of clinics? Do you guys have a time frame for that, or is this something that you're looking to expand into 2022?
Yeah, we see the 15 clinics being about a 12-month endeavor. Obviously, as things come, we're going to put them out to the market and let people know with exact dates and times. But you're going to see a fairly aggressive expansion because the team that we brought in has clearly been able to operate and manage scale, and they have an incredible corporate team and an ability to scale continuously. So all we're doing is adding our marketing and media and of course the access to the public capital that we have so that they can really start supercharging.
That's awesome, man. I look forward to further picking your brain because you seem very engulfed in a really more, I think, appropriate side of this industry, because it always seems like they're either just purely focused on figuring out how to get to like the clinical side of it, or they're just purely focused on doing the pipeline side with no real profitability, like you said, until FDA approval comes around the corner. So if anybody has any questions at all, let us know what you think in the comment section below, and then we can always follow up with some retail-focused questions. But where can people learn more about Delic?
Sure, deliccorp.com. Deliccorp.com has all of our corporate information. Meetdelic.com if they want to come to our event. It's happening in about 2 months. RealitySandwich.com if they want to find out more about psychedelics as a whole. And KWC and KIC.com for the clinics if they'd like to come and experience a psychedelic wellness treatment.
That's incredible, man. Thanks so much for your time today, Matt. And I look forward to catching you in the next one. So stay cool, stay awesome, everyone, and we'll catch you.
Thank you. Have a great one.